punctured the lung. What's up, everybody? My name's Christian, in case you're new to this channel, and thanks for tuning in with me. Today I'd like to tell a story about the one time I got stabbed. So I'll start from the top. One night, my buddy Cole and I, we decided to just go downtown to just take some nighttime photos and just mess around with the cameras and stuff like that. So before we start shooting, we end up going to this bar called the Little Easy in downtown, and just to have a drink before we started our night. And this guy starts talking to us. He was really nice. He bought us drinks and everything, and I look over at the wall and I see his face on the wall. It's pretty cool. Part of the decor of the bar is it was like Prohibition era time, and this guy's wearing Prohibition clothes. He dressed like a bootlegger on the wall of this bar, and I started laughing. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing on this wall? And lo and behold, he's the owner of this bar. So, we start talking and stuff like that, and he offers to take us to his other bars. And we didn't know this at the time, but this guy is he owns probably 10 bars within a 1 mile radius in downtown. So he's a pretty important dude. So of course Cole and I, we're like, sure, we'll go out with you. And we go and, we're walking around a couple blocks and hitting up all this guy's bars, every bar. And, he's treating us with drinks. So that's really nice of him. We're probably drinking with this guy for a couple hours, and we are shit-faced, slammed. This guy just, got us as much drinks as we can drink at every single bar he owned, and we were shit-faced. So, fast forward about half an hour, everyone is pretty inebriated at this point, and the bar owner goes and pukes all over his bar, and it's pretty funny. So he's completely done. At this point, we're just like, all right, I think it's time to go. So, this is after 2:00. So, they're done serving alcohol and whatnot. So we leave this bar, and outside, Cole accidentally knocks over this homeless guy's beer. And mind you, this is after 2 a.m. and in LA, they stop serving alcohol at 2. So we knock over this guy's beer, and this man is completely infuriated. Get me another beer, and we can't because they stopped serving alcohol. So this guy starts getting hostile, and starts trying to fight us. And we kind of just stand our ground, but we're trying to get away from this situation, walk away. So we're walking up the street. This guy follows us all the way up into the crosswalk and gets in front of us and is not letting us leave, talking to us, saying he was gonna kill us and all this crazy talk. And we're just trying to get away. So he gets in front of us, is blocking out our way, about a block up from where the altercation originally started. And he starts trying to fight us. He slapped Cole right in the face, and that's my boy, so I'm not gonna take that. So obviously I had a little liquid courage in me and whatnot, but I go and fight this guy. So he punched at Cole, so I go and try to fight him. So we're just we're fighting at this point, and I'm getting the better of the exchanges. And I finally get one, good punch, and he's down on the ground, and I'm just beating him up. And then at this point, my adrenaline's running, and I'm nervous in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just, beat this guy up. So I just try to get out of there. I was like, oh, I don't want to go to jail or anything but anyway, so I get out of there, and Cole and I are separated, and I am, we're trying for about half an hour. I'm wandering the streets of LA trying to find him. But, I couldn't, and I was, we were both really, really inebriated at the time, so we couldn't really, we couldn't really meet up, and, it was difficult. So at this point, I had been stabbed by this man that I had fought, and I must have been the adrenaline or the alcohol, but I did not feel it for about 30 minutes. So I'm like walking around LA bleeding out completely, and I don't even notice it. And so about 20 minutes or so pass, about 30 minutes pass. 30 minutes pass, and I still haven't found Cole. I'm trying to find my way back to the car, but I noticed that I feel out of breath. The closest way I can describe it as if you were to run a mile as fast as you can, and by the time you're done with it, you're short of breath, you're breathing heavy, and it's hard to breathe. So that's kind of what I could tell you, or the closest thing that it felt like for me. And I thought I was just sweaty. Like I knew my shirt was wet, but I thought I was just sweating because I was just, walking around for half an hour trying to figure out. But it was about 30 minutes in, I noticed I touched my back and my whole hand is covered in blood. I'm like, freaking out, like, oh my God, this isn't real. And at the same time, my breath was very short and I couldn't breathe. So like I'm starting to like panic a little bit, but still okay. And eventually a couple people actually on the street were like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, do you need help? And I just not even thinking that it was bad at all. I'm like, no, I'm fine. So I keep walking. So fast forward, I finally meet up with Cole, and basically I'm out of breath, and I knew I'm injured, but I didn't know to the extent of how bad. So I meet up with Cole, and he freaks out. Like, I let him know, hey man, I think I got stabbed while I was trying to find him, and he just didn't believe me at the time because what? Like, he saw the fight. It didn't look like anything had happened, but, this guy, the assailant, kind of was really sneaky about the little shank. So, anyway, so I meet up with Cole, and he looks at me, and he's freaking out, like, oh my gosh, you got stabbed, and, like, we all just couldn't believe it, and I'm kind of, at this point, like, really short of breath. So, I kind of just sit down and once, after all the shock hit us, we kind of started like panicking. Oh my gosh, you need to get to the hospital. So he calls an ambulance, and I go to the hospital in the ambulance, and then we split up for the rest of the night. But when I get to the hospital, they tell me that I have been stabbed and sliced, and it was about a 6-inch blade, and it had punctured my lung. So the reason I was short of breath and couldn't breathe well is because they punctured my lung, and my lungs were filling up with blood. So they put me into so I ended up getting an emergency surgery and a tube inserted into my lung to drain out the fluids that were building up. And at the time, it didn't hurt. I didn't think it was bad, but it was pretty bad. The doctors were saying, you're lucky to be alive. If you had showed up 30 minutes later, you could have suffocated on your own blood, and it was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe it. But a lot of my friends always ask me, oh, did it hurt? And I'm just like, I didn't feel it, but it did hurt after. So anyway, so basically I get all patched up, sewn up. I got tetanus shot, all the, I think it was 15 staples, and, I think that's it. And, so continue. So basically I get put in the ICU, and I'm in the ICU for 4 days. 4 days in the ICU, and then they transfer me for my remaining 2 days. I was in the hospital for 6 days total into the normal hospital. So at this point, I'm just just waiting to get released. And 6 days pass, and I'm finally, doctors okay me to go, so I leave. And it's kind of crazy because I'm not the type of person, I don't feel like the type of person that this happens to. But then again, it was a freak accident. It could happen to anyone. So if there's anything I can take away from the story is, be careful. Be careful. Sometimes you think, oh, this will never happen to me. And that's what I thought. I thought to myself, oh, no one would ever I would never get stabbed. Like, this doesn't happen. I'm not gang affiliated. I'm not a violent person. I don't get into trouble. Like, why would I get stabbed? But, things happen, and I was lucky enough to have, great health insurance at the time, because when I got my hospital bill back up, it came up, over $70,000 of hospital bills just from the ICU treatment, ambulance, and just being in the hospital and everything. So thank God that, I had health insurance at the time. But just the moral of the story is just be careful. You don't know, what people are capable of, and, so just make smart decisions, especially if you're, outside at nighttime. Don't put yourself in vulnerable positions. Just be aware, because anything can happen. So here are the scars that I was after the incident. 1 year later, got some cool battle wounds. So this one is the actual stab wound that punctured the lung. There's another little slice around here, and that was just from the knife. Just didn't get a full stab motion, just a little slice. And then this one was where they inserted the tube into my lung to drain out all the fluids. So I got some cool little memorabilia for that story, but I'm lucky enough that I'm still here. That was legit one of the near-death experiences of my life. I don't have too many, but that had to be one of them. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the story, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I know my channel is a little random right now, but I'm still trying to figure out where I want to take it right now. But if you enjoy this, let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to follow me on all my social medias, and I'll put the link in the description below. Thanks, guys. Until next time.